what is the most important thing that in your opinion, that Judicial Watch has done so far this year?
Well, we've been in the forefront of exposing a deep state conspiracy against President Trump. I know folks have gotten off track in terms of the concerns about the spying as a result of all the election noise and all of that. But that scandal hasn't gone away, and it was Judicial Watch who exposed the FISA warrants, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants, the ones that had been, for the first time in history, publicized as a result of Judicial Watch and other Freedom of Information Act litigation. And that showed that the courts were misled as part of the Obama effort to spy on President Trump's team. And later, it was actually Rod Rosenstein who also signed off on one of the warrants. So it extended in even to the Trump administration, this abuse. And Robert Mueller benefited from that spying operation as well. So we're now waiting for the rest of that spy warrant to be released or declassified, because we understand, based on those who have seen it, that it's even worse in terms of other scandals showing that the government was misleading the courts in order to get this spy warrant authority. And related to that, we've got these major documents showing that Christopher Steele, who worked for Hillary Clinton, worked for Fusion GPS worked for Hillary Clinton through Fusion GPS, who was paid off by a cutout firm for the Clinton campaign, a law firm. So this Christopher Steele character, foreign spy, or used to be a spy, but probably still had connections to the intelligence apparatus in the UK, he was working with the FBI. Met with them 13 times, 11 of those times he was paid in 2016. So no one else got that, Judicial Watch got it. And we have dozens of lawsuits, well over 30 plus lawsuits, investigating these connections between the deep state effort to overturn the election and overthrow the presidency.
Wow, and it's tough almost remembering all that stuff just happened just this year with the news cycle just moving so fast as it does. So do you think we're going to get that information you were talking about soon with the spy investigation and Rod Rosenstein? Do you think that comes about soon?
Yeah, I think the president ultimately is going to declassify that material. He initially was just going to do it on his own, but deep state representatives came in and said, oh no, the sky will fall if you declassify this. And the president said, okay, well, I'll let the IG at the Justice Department figure out whether it's appropriate to declassify this as a double backstop as to whether he can frankly trust the FBI and DOJ to be forthright as to the impact on national security as a result of you declassifying this. To me, that was a needless delay. I think he should just declassify the material because what's going to happen is the Democrats are taking control of the House, and so the whole thing's going to come up again. So the sooner we get information about what really went on, the better, because the politicians are going to come back into town and try to distract from the truth.
So with Rod Rosenstein, what happened with that whole thing? It kind of sounded like he was going to be fired, and then he wasn't, and now we're kind of in this limbo. So do you think he's fired soon, or do you think he's going to stay around for the long haul?
I don't know what's going on. For those of you who didn't track it, this is a big story, but about a month or so ago now, 2 months ago, the New York Times reported that Rod Rosenstein, who was Deputy Attorney General, remember Sessions had recused himself. Mm-hmm. So he's running the show on a lot of this Russia-related material investigations, and he's meeting with the acting FBI director, Andrew McCabe, who since has been fired for misconduct. And they're in a meeting with senior staff, and Rod Rosenstein is talking about recording the president because Comey had just been fired. Now Rosenstein says he was joking, wearing a wire into the Oval Office. It was all a joke. I don't know how many jokes occur where the acting head of the FBI and essentially his boss at the Justice Department are joking about recording the president. But he also talked about invoking the 25th Amendment, which is the process for removing the president. Now that didn't happen, but no one say he joked about that. And just thirdly, he talked about getting a special counsel appointed. Yeah. So of the three things he talked about, the special counsel was appointed as a result of that meeting. A meeting where they were really figuring out ways to overthrow the president. And if the president's comfortable with having Rod Rosenstein in as the number 2 at the Justice Department, I guess that's his prerogative. I think probably one solution he has in his head was he removed Jeff Sessions, so he has someone that he's more comfortable with, at least as acting Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker.
Okay. So you think Sessions being removed was his response to the Rosenstein, or?
I think it might have been an elegant solution to the Rosenstein issue, so he didn't have to fire both Sessions and Rosenstein at the same time. And now Whitaker is overseeing the Mueller investigation.
Okay.
Now, I think it should be shut down. It should be shut down for constitutional reasons, for abusive reasons, and the basic issue is the Justice Department can't be investigating the president for his official conduct. I mean, it doesn't make any constitutional sense to me. Now, whether Whitaker is going to have the backbone to do this, I don't know, but they're nervous he will do it. That's why you're hearing noises out of the Senate and the House that they may pass a bill to try to protect Mueller from being fired, which would be an unconstitutional abomination on top of the abomination of the harassing Mueller investigation.
So you mentioned shutting down the Mueller operation and Mueller a little bit in the special counsel and that sort of thing, and now Whitaker's overseeing it all. Do you mind talking a little bit about what you expect from what happens now that Whitaker's in charge? Things are seeming to change, but do you think they will? What happens to the Mueller investigation?
Well, the X factor in all this is what the president's going to do, because he does things that politicians ordinarily don't do, like he fired Comey.
Yeah.
He removed Jeff Sessions, despite all the screaming that took place as a result of his doing it and the threats against him to stop him from doing it. He did it anyway. But typically, at the Justice Department, it's a bad idea, I guess, for purposes of investing to rely on past performance to figure out if something is going to do well in the future, if you're buying a stock or a mutual fund or something like that. But in politics, past performance is a pretty good indication of future performance, especially in the deep state bureaucracies. So my guess is the Mueller investigation will continue to move along, absent extraordinary intervention by the president, and it will continue to harass the president, his family, and his associates. And I don't think Whitaker is going to restrain it as much as people might think he might have, because inertia is a great friend to the bureaucracy.